Alright, guys. So this is another fanfiction idea, and I thought this would be a fun one. This is, as you can see, a cartoon AU of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, where basically characters are book characters. I've kind of done this before with, like, Universal Monsters and a few other AUs here and there. But I've always wanted to do League of Extraordinary Gentlemen as, like, a version of it. And it's not going to follow the movie or kind of the comics. But anyway, so in this, it's kind of funny because, just fun thing real quick, I actually did kind of do a version of this, or at least gave the idea to a friend of mine, Lord Zeppelin, on his fanfiction, where he's kind of following the movie with some added elements. So there is some elements of that in that fanfiction by Lord Zeppelin, but this is kind of like its own thing in and of itself. So let's get started. So this story takes place in the 1800s, like the height of the 1800s, and we are now dealing with the invasion from Mars. This is taking place right in the smack in the middle of the War of the Worlds, and Britain, the British Army, the British Intelligence Agency, every group in the British government is like, we kind of need we're protecting London right now from the tripods and the aliens, but for right now we need extra help. We need a specialized team to hunt down and take out the this Martian menace. So what the idea is, they talk to an agent named Lilith Clawthorne. Lilith more or less proposes the idea of, I have my sister, we can ask her for help, and they're already putting up files for people like a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen to combat the Martian menace as it's spreading across the world. So they want to make think of it kind of like Avengers, a like 1800s Avengers kind of story. So the idea is to go find these individuals and bring them together. The first being Ida in here is our Quartermain. She is our Alan Quartermain. She's an old hunter living in Africa, and when she sees Lilith, she's like, what does the British government want from me now? Like, her whole thing is like, I'm done. I have served Her Majesty for a long time. I just want to stay in Africa. And Lilith goes, how long do you think until the tripods start showing up in Africa and start destroying your second home? Just saying, could use your help, sis. So yeah, they get her, but before they do, Lilith mentions that they need another member in Africa, and Ida's like, oh god, him. So yeah, they go deep into the Congo to find Randy, who Randy in here is Tarzan. He is our Tarzan of the story, and Teresa is his Jane. He has Teresa, who is Jane in this story, and Randy in here is the son of in this version, Randy was the son of a Irish nobleman who was wrecked at shore, and they found their way deep into the Congo. They were killed by poachers, and he was found and raised by a troop of guerrillas. So Randy is also brought in to help fight the Martian menace, because again, he kind of gets sold, how long until the Martians come to your home? So there's our first two members. We then follow onward we go to Paris this time, and Paris has two members as well, and those two members are real monsters. So in Paris, there's the first one they have to find is deep in the under an opera house that burned down recently. That person is Marinette. Marinette is the Phantom of the Opera in this story. In this version, Marinette was a dancer and a young singer who was an up-and-coming, but then Chloe, jealous of Marinette's talent, more or less sabotaged her by throwing acid in her face during an argument, and Marinette took on the identity of the Phantom to get revenge on the opera house that spurred her. So Marinette joins because because Lilith goes, we could probably fix your face. Just saying, we may be able to fix your face through all of this. And Marinette's like, fine, I'll do it. Then we have Dipper, who Dipper Pines in here in this continuity is Dr. Jekyll. He is Dr. Jekyll, and Bill is Mr. Hyde. So we have Dr. Pines and Mr. Cypher. So Bill in this version is more like Dipper's hair turns blonde and shaggy. He has eyes turn yellow, and he has like claws and fangs. He's just and it's Bill taking like I said, this version of Bill is Mr. Hyde. Following that, we have Pen Zero, who Pen in here is the invisible man, who in this story it is kind of following the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, where Pen was a thief who got a hold of the Invisible Man formula, turned himself invisible, and there you go. Then we have Luz, who is Tom Sawyer. She was sent by the American government to assist in building this team, and she and Ida strike up a friendship. We also have Amity. Amity is Mina Harker. She is a vampire in this story and is promised a cure for her vampirism, as well as a way to finally destroy Dracula in this story. Also, it's so interesting to note that also in Paris we have another pair of characters who also join, but they weren't really like part of the group. And those are Mabel and Pacifica. Who Mabel in here in our story is Sherlock Holmes, while Pacifica is Dr. Watson. Yeah, that throws you for a loop, right? They were actually in Paris trying to save Dipper from Mr. Hyde, basically Mr. Bill. So they were trying to find him and bring him back so they could try to find a way to take the monster out of the man. We have another mad scientist that joins the group. They go to Switzerland, where they find Melissa Chase, who, if you guys remember, was from Milo Murphy's Law. And Melissa Chase is in this story isn't her real last name. And Lilith goes, well, perhaps you can help us, Miss Chase. And Chase is like, I'd be happy to help, but I'm afraid I'm just merely a medical student. Let me ask that again, Dr. Frankenstein. So yeah, Melissa in here is Victor Frankenstein, is a female Dr. Frankenstein, who did create the monster, and the monster got away, and we're in that part of the book, if you want to go by, if you want to be a stickler for the book. In here, in this part of the story, we've gotten to the point where they kind of live, like, the monster's away. And we'll get to the monster in a second. But she, Melissa has fled and changed her last name from Frankenstein to Chase, and is trying to rebuild her life in Switzerland again. So rather than be like, hey, join us, or we'll tell everyone what you made. We kind of need a brilliant mind on this team, or at least more brilliant minds. So Melissa's like, all right, fine, but it isn't until the monster catches up. But we'll get to the monster in a second. We also have Anne Boon Choi in here is Captain Nemo. We have female Captain Nemo, which again isn't too far, because if I remember right, there was a female Captain Nemo that was the daughter of the first one. Yeah, so she has her own Nautilus. Sprig is her Ishmael. I thought I'd have fun with that one. And then, while they're also getting members to fight the Martian horde, we have the monster show up, and the monster is on the hunt for Melissa. And that monster turns out to be Wendy. Yeah, Wendy in here is the Frankenstein monster. She was the thing that Melissa created. Instead of making a male monster, it was a female. And the reason why they split apart was because Wendy had already killed Milo in the story, who was the Elizabeth of this version, and had been hunting for her master because she refused to make a mate for him. Of course, Dipper here is like, oh, what an amazing specimen. I mean, woman. I mean, and Bill in his head is like, and I thought I was a monster. God damn, she is hot. So, of course, we got some Wendip here, but a more monstrous version of it. As for other members, we have Sasha, Sasha in here is, well, no, excuse me, not Sasha, Sashi Kobayashi from Pen Zero Part-Time Hero, who is the Adeline from, again, the Sherlock Holmes novels. And she's a master thief who has been offered to wipe away her criminal record, give her a new clean slate to help fight the Martians. So, yeah, there you go. Just a basic plot and talking about all the characters and the different versions of them. Thought that would be pretty fun. So you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of this version of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen? What do you think? And what other characters could you see as literary characters in this version? I'm curious to see who else you guys could come up with and what kind of versions they would be. But other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. Once again, if you haven't already, hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon. But other than that, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the multiverse.